Shahid Azeem over here, who has an amazing story. If he tells you in 2 hours, he would totally get you in the zone. Such an incredible person, started with almost no education, but made to the top of the British entrepreneurial, table. He sold off his business, started another one, an amazing guy, a lot of positive energy. And then, not only this, he was counted among RBS 100 most influential people in the UK. If I say it right, one of the top 100 most influential Muslims in the UK. This is one short introduction. He represents, in fact, a very unique honor, which you must know. Her Majesty the Queen, actually, the Buckingham Palace, and he would maybe share more. He represents Her Majesty as a lieutenant in Surrey. That's something to the added advantage. But he could have been a great speaker on the business and finance one, but why the sports and media? Because he has a point to actually address. He's also chairman of Aldershot FC, and say so much more. But let's welcome Shahid. Shahid, when it comes to you, in fact, there's so many things to talk about, but you have a message where how sports connects.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I sort of feel a bit of a failure sitting in front of you guys because I've got no formal qualification. I went to a private school, but I wanted to be a footballer back in '74. So I was probably the first Asian professional footballer, signed for Aldershot Town, which is, believe it or not, the club I just bought about 4 years ago. For me, sport is everything I've achieved in my life is actually through sport. Our family pushed everybody through sports. But when I came to sharing this sort of bit like the BBC here, we keep repeating ourselves. So I came in '69, February the 4th, and we lived in Guildford. We were the first brown family to live in Guildford, all white folks. And I couldn't speak English, and before you say I still can't, I'm from Surrey actually. So, but the only way I could get accepted at school was through sports. I excelled at sports. I was on the same par as everybody else at school. So I really excelled at sport, and I wanted to, be appreciated. But I became quite a good footballer, and the history is that I played for Aldershot. I was going to be a first professional footballer. I got a contract. Then I broke my leg playing in a match. Broke my tibia and fibia. And I was out in those days for about a year, and that was the end of the football career. So my father sent me back to Pakistan. Our family were in the military, so they sent me to the famous academy. So anyway, long and short of it was, I lasted 2 weeks. I hated being told what to do, when to go to bed, and I'm still sort of in my family and not accepted because in our family we produced about 8 generals. So they're thinking I'm a bit of a black sheep of the family, really. But my business was, I left school, worked for the civil service. Back in '89, I set my own business up, a loan of £5,000, and by 2005 we were about €120 million company. We had 300 staff, 5 offices in France, Gibraltar, Belgium, and I just started this personal journey when the ladies were talking. You're talking about, some of the husband not supporting. I honestly, I would have not achieved anything if it wasn't for my wife. Honestly, when you're born, when you're on there, you were married in '88, you had one kid, and we started business recession, and we used to think, could we afford to buy sandwiches at work, but a Pakistani family, always a businessman, we must, expecting about 10 different handis and all that sort of stuff. So, but if it wasn't for my wife, we made a lot of sacrifices. So that's my history, really, is my business. I sort of set it up. But about 2005, I was spending a week in France, a week in Belgium, a week in Gibraltar, and I realised that I was really missing my kids. I could count on my hand all the quality time I had with my kids when they're up to 12, and from onwards, I don't know what I did with my kids, and I thought, money is it's not everything. So I sold my business. I was going to France, and I'll tell you what really made it for me was I picked up a newspaper, and it was a story about a guy, and its headline was fat, 40 and fired. And it just reminded me of myself for quite a bit. I wasn't fat, by the way, but the rest of it I was there. But I spent all my time in my business, and I didn't have quality in my kids. And so I thought, right. So when I landed at Charles de Gaulle, I sort of sold the business. We had a company called Morse Computers who wanted to buy it from me, sold it, and realised in 2006, right, done that. I became their CEO. I hated them because I hate being told what to do. So I left, and then my life really changed. And the reason why I'm here is changed that I lived in Guildford, 6-7 miles away from Guildford is a place called Woking. Now, some might not know about Woking, but Woking is the first place that the very first purpose-built mosque was built in 1889. We have the first Muslim burial ground, which is 100 years old. That was in 2014. Started when the British Empire time. We have the biggest Muslim burial ground there. So the only thing I knew about Woking was I used to go and watch football, occasionally go to the mosque if somebody died or Eid. And the chief exec said to me, "Look, Shahid, I've got 10,000 Pakistanis here, and they can you come and talk to them because we need a role model?" And what I discovered there was 10% of the employers taxi trade. I get kids who get educated, degrees, and become taxi drivers, which is all about cash and how many houses you got. I've got huge issues with mental health problems. So we've got a little canal that goes down the middle of our way. If you live on this side of the canal compared to this side of the canal, the life expectancy is 10 years difference because we have issues with mental health problems, diabetes, heart problems, very low self-esteem with lots of people there. Anyway, so I went to this event, and if you ask some counsellors, please do not take offence. It's not attending. My personal experience of our own Pakistani counsellors who get into there, God knows why they get involved in it, because they don't do anything for what the community is. I nickname them as like Samosa and the Soup Man. They'll come to your house in a suit, have a samosa, and do bugger all for as I'm concerned. So I just don't, so I decided, whatever happened, the chief exec of the council was a fantastic guy, and he said, "Look, would you help me to set up, help the Asian community?" So I set up this Woking Asian Business Forum to help mainly the youth, the female, incubator, start-up businesses. And this is a Welsh fantastic leader, and I said, "Look, I want to start incubators." He said, "Right, you can have that." Everything he asked of. So Woking is where I've sort of lived all my life, and I had the negative side of Woking as well. And going by is here. So one of the thing I said I'd do was because I loved football, and they said, "Would you like to chair the football club, which is a Woking football club?" So the first thing I did was I bought the Pakistan national team to come and play Woking, which again, these guys sitting here, I had to persuade them to give me some money because obviously I had to fly some of them over. Do you know what was so sad about it was I had 1,500 Pakistani kids and family come to watch this match. And that was on 4th of August, if I remember, 2010. and I was their chairman. I turned the club around from a very negative football club into a very positive club, hugely linked with the communities, financially turned it around. I put a lot of money into it. The day we played Pakistan on the 4th of August, 7th of August, the board said, you're not taking the club the direction we want to take it. So what it really boiled down to was, our mayor in Woking was a Pakistani. We had the whole of the Pakistan Chamber of Commerce came to it. We had the Best Way guys there. We had, the Pakistan embassy there. Suddenly, I just realised that there is, even though I lived all my life with 99% of my friends are Goras, I just realised that I need to do something else. And for me, it was through sports. And I just go back very quickly why I'm into sport is because when I came to England, in Guildford, I used to pick up the newspaper and just look at the Pakistani cricketers. I used to look at like Azeem, Sarfraz Nawaz. They were my role models. I used to pick them up and you see how well they did in the cricket. So for me, it was all about sport, and sport is a great leveler. So long-winded way about it is, I thought, right, I'll show these guys at Woking. So I went and bought Aldershot Town Football Club, which is about 6 miles away from Woking. I took all the sponsors that I bought in. So mashallah, we're about third in the league. Woking are right down the bottom at the moment. We are linked with Chelsea Football Club. Again, we talk about we live in the most multicultural society. We're a global town. So our partnership is with Chelsea Football Club. The chairman of Chelsea Football Club is, he's supporting me more than anybody else I can see. And to the extent, just if I can just do one plug, which is on March the 8th, again, we're holding a Pakistan digital powerhouse that I was asked by a chap called Amjad Bashir. I was asked by Baron Swasi to help to bring a digital thing. So we're holding at Chelsea Football Club. We've got about a couple hundred people coming to it. Again, Chelsea was supporting it. So I think if you want to get involved in how do you change the perception of people, how do you see how you get involved in it? For me, biggest thing for Pakistan at the moment is, we'll finish on, is two people put the name of Pakistan on the world map. First was Jahangir Khan back in the 80s. He put the Pakistan name for 10 years on the world map, and then after 92, Imran Khan on cricket. If you want to change, if Nelson Mandela can change the perception of South Africa in 16 years by doing football, World Cup, rugby, and cricket, I think if you get more people in Pakistan and get our football and our sport and that back, sport is a great leveler, and I think for Pakistan to be really proud is through sport. Thank you.